So these are the blanks which I am going to use to make my own custom V bits. And the first thing I have to do is to flatten half of the blank, and to do that, first of all, I need to set up my jig. And to do that, the first thing I did is to insert the blank into the collet chuck, and from thereafter I made that blank parallel to the blade, and then I just pointed those pointers towards the nearest marking which have been marked onto the front plate and also onto the side one, and make sure that that pointer align that marking pretty accurately, because from thereafter this is going to be considered the zero of the jig, and all the angles which are going to be transferred onto the blank, their reference come up from that pointer. So make sure to do this work as accurate as you can. It would be great if those markings are done with some laser or some etching work, because in that case you have a very fine line to take the reference, and that will also going to improve the accuracy and repeatability of this jig. So once the jig has been set up completely, the first thing you have to do is to grind down those blanks up to half of its thickness, and also make sure that during this process the angle onto both the front plate and the side plate remains 0, because only then you are able to get a precise result. Otherwise the blank may have vary in thickness. Since grinding with a worn out blade is much of a time consuming job, so to speed up this process I changed the blade to a grinding disc. And also during the initial grinding process I also grind down some of the blanks onto the drill press by mounting a grinding wheel onto the chuck. That will speed up that initial grind process a lot more faster compared to this. And once most of the material has been removed onto the grinding wheel, the fine tuning of the material has been done onto the diamond grinding wheel, and here you can see the accuracy, and usually it varies between 0.02 millimeter to 0.03 millimeter, and I don't think that it's a huge change in the dimension, because I don't think it's going to create much of a difference. So overall, if you set your jig to a pretty high accuracy, then the result is definitely a lot more accurate. So once the initial grinding work has been finished, the next thing to do here is to give this bit a V shape, and for that, first of all, we have to turn the blank 90 degree to clockwise direction, and from thereafter we have to change the angle onto the side plate to half of the required angle. Suppose if we need a 10 degree V bit, then the angle onto the side plate has to be set onto 5 degree, and that is how this thing going to work. And from thereafter I'm going to start the grinding work. The length of the cutting edge can be easily calculated by Pythagoras theorem, or you can use any kind of a CAD program to identify the required beveling you need to do onto the blank to get the desired V bit. And during the grinding process, make sure to keep measuring the tip of the blank, and do not exceed your grinding too much, otherwise you have to do a lot more work to correct your mistake. So make sure to pay attention during the grinding work and kept measuring the distance. And once I reached to half of the width which I needed, I again turn the front plate 90 degree clockwise and start removing the material from behind the blank. And during this process, make sure not to change any of the angle, because we need a consistency throughout the entire bit, so that we are able to form a nice, even and accurate V-bit for our work. Once the stock removal process from the back side has been completed, we have to again rotate the bit to 90 degree so that we are able to grind down the opposite end of the V-bit, which is not going to play any part during the cutting process. And during the grinding part of the opposite end, make sure to change the angle tiny bit lower than the desired angle of your cutting edge. Suppose if you are using a 5-degree angle for your cutting edge, then the angle for the opposite edge needs to be kept around 3-degree or 4-degree. So once the stock removal process has been completed, it's time to give our bit a cutting edge. For that, first of all, I am going to set my jig to a 30-degree angle from where we have initially started the beveling work of the V-bit, and then starts grinding down the edge onto the 180 grit grinding wheel. So beside making custom V-bits for the CNC, you can also use this jig to sharpen your drill bits. In this case, I am going to sharpen this completely flat drill bit. I'm not going to explain the entire process because it's pretty much same like we have done with the V-bits. Just you need to change the angle. For the drill bit, I am using a 120-degree angle, and in this case the side plate angle has to be changed to a 60-degree, and the angle onto the front plate has been shifted towards 45-degree. One more advantage of this jig is that you can also use it to make your own custom gravers. For the demonstration of this video, I am constructing a 90-degree graver. If you want to know full depth info about the gravers, you can check the description section. There is a video over this particular topic, and that will tell you more about the angles, the heel angle and the face angle you need to make in the graver, and this video is just about a quick demonstration of this jig. So along with all of this work, I also made a test run onto all of the bits which I made earlier, and the test result is pretty much acceptable, and I think it is definitely a doable task with this kind of a jig if you are willing to make your own custom V-bits. And beside the text engraving, I also carved some complex design over MDF, and I would say that 8mm bit did not perform that much well, which I am expecting, and I don't know the reason behind that, because the texts are coming pretty much fine with that bit. Maybe the MDF have some issue, so I leave it up to you that what you would think about this entire project, but for me this is pretty much a successful build. And if you have any feedback, then you can leave that in the comment section down below. And yeah, I see you in the next one. Till then, have a great day.